What is going on? Mike here with iSMELL, and yes, we are in fact back at it with another video. A million different directions we could have taken today, and after much deliberation, I do truly feel like I've landed on a stellar lineup. What I'll be presenting to y'all are going to be 10 of some of my favorite citrus dominated fragrances. Every single one of these smell amazing, and they will undoubtedly level up your collection. But I am not here to waste anybody's time, seeing as we do have quite a bit to get through today. Let's go ahead and get into it. So y'all know how I rock by now. No honorable mentions, right into the nitty gritty as always. This first one here caught me completely off guard, and I can't be the only one, and that is simply because it strayed so far from the core DNA that this line is synonymous with. This one comes from the house of Versace. The name of it is Eros Energy. All right, so while I do certainly enjoy the fruity vanilla DNA of the OG, I fully appreciate the direction that they went with Eros Energy. Now, I'll give you a couple sprays so you can know what I smell in this fragrance. Otherwise, I would not be doing the name of this channel justice. Bro, those cicadas are going crazy. All right, so this one is, no pun intended, energetic and full of life. Perfect for a day like this where it's hot outside and the sun is beaming. Now, it's a citrus bomb with strong emphasis on both lemon as well as blood orange. Very, very juicy. It will smell that way throughout the majority of the fragrance. As it develops though, it does take an earthy, masculine tonality with that black currant, and it's that same black currant that might remind you of something like a Ventus cologne. Then in the base, blonde ambers, warm woods, nice, clean, mass appealing designer smelling musk. This one does boast above average performance as well as longevity, can be worn in a whole host of scenarios. If you're looking for just a daily driver dumb reach summer fragrance that is dominated full of citruses, look no further. At the #1 spot, again from the house of Versace, we have Eros Energy. All right, so moving right along to fragrance number 2, we are about to talk about one of my favorite citrus fragrances, and that is regardless of price point. Again, I mentioned price point because we're about to talk about a niche fragrance, and as y'all are already aware, niche fragrances do generally cost a little bit more. Moving to the house of Xerjoff, this one goes by the name of Renaissance. All right, so the feeling that Renaissance means to evoke is one of the Italian countryside. Now, I'm a Texas boy through and through. Safe to say I've never been to Italy. I can only presume that they did that accurately just due to the high quality that this fragrance illustrates. Now, I'll give you a spray of this one as well. A lot going on with this fragrance, but it's simple at the same time. All right, citrus is right up at the top. So imagine minty freshness paired with citrus. As it moves through and into the mid, it does take a green tonality. It's green floral freshness, gives it a soapy, almost creamy vibe. And then in the base, you're gonna get dry cedar wood paired with an overarching musk. This one does boast great performance, exceptional longevity, assuming you do like citrus fragrances, assuming you can withstand something with floral freshness. And it does have quite a bit of green tonalities. This is definitely one worth checking out. Definitely test drive before you buy. If you don't want to spend $300 on Renaissance, just know you can get Guerlain Homme EDP. It will get you about 85% there. Nonetheless, it's one of my favorites in my entire collection and will be a citrus that will undoubtedly level up your collection. At the #2 spot today, again, from the house of Xerjoff, we have Renaissance. All right, y'all, so I am by no means a niche snob, even though I literally just showed a niche fragrance. Just know that if it smells good, I'm down to get it. And there is a certain price point to where I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do that. So in this case, I'm about to show a clone. This one comes from Afnan. It's a quintessential DNA, in my opinion, as it relates to citruses. This one goes by the name of Tarathi Blue. All right, so again, this is one of the quintessential DNAs. So imagine Bulgari Tiger, Ingenious Ginger, things like Afternoon Swim. All of those are DNAs that kind of share similar accords. This one here is not overly complex. It's just a masculine citrus fragrance. Yeah, so very rich, dark citruses, very masculine, juicy, ton of musks. The musks are almost even in a chord above the citruses. And then you get woods and patchouli, y'all. This is not an overly complex DNA, but what Tarathi Blue offers is a scent profile that gets you extremely close to Tigar at a fraction of the price. Not to mention, it's the type of fragrance with eternal longevity. Quintessential DNA and one of the most popular citrus DNAs currently on the market today. Definitely one worth checking out, adding to your shelf. At the number 3 spot, again from the house of Afnan, we have Tarathi Blue. All right, so moving right along to fragrance number 4. Here's the thing, if you're looking for a great smelling, well-composed designer fragrance that isn't going to break the bank, look no further. One of my favorite citrus fragrances in my entire collection. This one comes from the house of Hermes. This one goes by the name of Eau Givrée. All right, there was a ton of hype surrounding this one a couple of years ago when it came out due to effectively being very, very unique for a citrus fragrance, which there's a lot of redundancy in this genre. Safe to say, Eau Givrée is not one of them. The hype has died down, but don't get that twisted with it no longer being a great fragrance. All right, so Hermes stated that what they mean to evoke with this one is where earth meets ice. Now, again, I'm not that artsy fartsy. At the end of the day, I'm looking for something that, you know, lasts a good while, smells good, and is unique and not redundant on my shelf. And it does meet all of those criteria. You're going to get a frosted citrus up top. It's cold, energizing, and a bit rindy, but it never gets too cloying, and that's because it has this juniper freshness, and that juniper gives it a gin-like effect. It thins out some of the notes, and then it has this cold mineralic note. Imagine water over a cold wet stone, and then earthy accords. At the end of the day, just know that it's the OG Terre de Hermes DNA, and that's what I love about it. It retains everything we come to know and love about Terre de Hermes, but then they modernized it, gave it more utility with that added freshness. This one does boast above average performance. It's not a screamer by any stretch, but if you're looking for a citrus fragrance that's not juvenile, something that smells a bit unique when you compare it to the genre in general, it's definitely one that should be on your radar. Again, just because the hype has died down does not mean it's no longer an excellent fragrance. Y'all stop chasing trends, you know? Let's return back to the classics, y'all. At the number 4 spot, again from the house of Hermes, we have Eau Givrée. All right, so anybody that has been subscribed to my channel for any fair amount of time, you're already well aware of my affinity to George Zaharoff. Firstly, I think he's an amazing human. Therefore, it makes it very easy to support his brand. That is effectively the direction we're going with this next one. Exploring the world of Zaharoff, this one goes by the name of Signature Citrine. The dent don't lie, y'all. The dent doesn't lie. Now, I do have about 8 or 9 Zaharoffs at this point. I will go on record again. I've stated it before, but this one is one of my most worn Zaharoffs, which again, it makes sense. I live in Texas. It's hot most of the year, but what I like about this one is it's a citrus fragrance that offers something different than what the genre normally is. I'll give you a spray of this one as well. Now, a fragrance called Citrine, it should be centered and focused around citrus, which it absolutely is. This one has emphasis on clementine. It's a fruity, juicy opening right up at the top. And again, citruses will remain throughout a good portion. It does take a turn for the green, has fig leaf in it. And although I'm omitting quite a few notes, I'm just giving you the cliff notes. In the base, what really I want to drive home is that it shares that same signature ambery resinous base that many of the fragrances in the signature line also have, and for that reason it's a perfect flanker, y'all. I really do enjoy this fragrance. It's not a screamer. What this fragrance is charming, and definitely one that I can wear in the hottest days of the year. And I know I smell great, I smell unique, and I'm having, at the end of the day, an olfactory experience, y'all. I get paid nothing to talk about his fragrances. I'm just generally a fan of his and Claude's work. Definitely one worth checking out. At the number 5 spot, again from the house of Zaharoff, we have Signature Citrine. All right, so moving on to what could potentially be one of the more divisive fragrances in this list today. Fragrance number 6 comes from the house of Dolce & Gabbana. This one goes by the name of Light Blue Forever. All right, so news to me, but apparently it's been discontinued. I thought it was just a seasonal release that maybe they would, put back into the market, but no, it has been discontinued. I checked, the resellers, and bottles are going for like $150 to $175. So I'm gonna be a little bit more light on the trigger. Now, again, this came out in 2021, and when it came out, it was very divisive. This will be ultimately a fragrance that is a love or a hate, and that is for one specific reason. All right, when you spray it, it smells like grapefruit. Overdosed on grapefruit, almost to the point where you don't smell anything else. It's very rindy, sour, and acidic, but at the same time, very fresh, y'all. And on the hottest days, you don't want something overly complex. You want something simple that's easy to wear, that's gonna last a good long while, and that's exactly what Light Blue Forever does. It's not just grapefruit though. There is some violet, gives it an ozonic nature, kind of gives it a bit of airiness. And then in the base, just nice musks to ground everything down and bring it back to earth. Very good fragrance for the hottest days of the year. If you're considering blind buying it, just know it smells like grapefruit, but it definitely works for the hot weather, and it will undoubtedly level up your collection, in my opinion. I don't have anything else in my collection that smells quite like it. Again, at the number 6 spot, again, from the house of Dolce & Gabbana, we have Light Blue Forever. All right, so let's presume for a second you are not an absolute psycho that needs hundreds of fragrances, but instead you want one signature scent that you can use as a daily driver that will work in a whole host of scenarios. Look no further. I have the fragrance for you. Just be aware, you may have to pay a little bit more, and y'all, sometimes that's just how it goes. Diving into the house of Creed, we are going to be talking about the iconic fragrance, otherwise known as Aventus Cologne. All right, so in a nutshell, this one is a fresher, more versatile version of the OG. They stripped back some of the more smoky aspects and replaced it with freshness by proxy, making it a way more versatile fragrance, y'all. And I will go on record to say I wear Aventus Cologne more than I wear Aventus. Fire hydrant for an atomizer. Now, it's a triad of notes, y'all. Imagine citruses and spice mixed with a zingy pop of ginger. Just be aware, they did retain the core essence. It does have that heavy dose of masculine woods and a little bit of that birch. So there is a little bit of that earthy smokiness. And then you get this balsamic, almost sticky styrax in the bottom. Sounds like a Mortal Kombat character, but it gives it a slight resinous vibe. It kind of tweaks one of the more iconic fragrance scent profiles ever created in perfumery and makes it more mass appealing for the everyday person. I wear this one a lot to work, and it works perfectly, y'all. You're not gonna offend anybody. This is just a masculine citrus fragrance that can be worn in the high heat, and for that, I absolutely love it. The juice is worth the squeeze on this one. This is one of the very few fragrances that I would pay full retail for. Definitely one worth checking out at the number 7 spot. Again, from the house of Creed, we have Aventus Cologne. All right, y'all, so I am a man of the people. I fully understand where a ton of y'all would not want to pay Creed prices. What I'm about to show y'all is effectively your next best option. Diving into the house of Dior. This one goes by the name of Dior Sport 2021. All right, so don't let the sport moniker fool you. There is nothing generic about this fragrance. Traditionally and historically, sport flankers, they always smell redundant, juvenile, boring. That is absolutely not the case with this one, y'all. All right, so effectively this is Dior Homme Sport 2020 with the inclusion of additional citrus. Citrus is going to be one of the main accords, but again, this one here is not redundant, it's not juvenile, this is not your traditional sport flanker. It's sparkling freshness up top, citruses blended with aldehydes gives it this airy vibe, but then it takes a turn, y'all. The mid has this elemi resin, and then the base, olibanum, smoky olibanum. So again, doesn't smell like your typical designer fragrance. This is borderline niche in my opinion. It's a fragrance scent profile unto itself. Out of anything that I'm talking about today, and I don't wear fragrances for the compliments, I will go on record to state that this fragrance does garner me more compliments than any other fragrance that I'm going to be talking about today. So for those of y'all that are into compliments, that don't want to break the bank and want a daily driver, Listen, y'all, it checks all the boxes. Definitely one worth checking out, in my honest opinion. At the number 8 spot, again from the house of Dior, we have Dior Homme Sport 2021. All right, so moving on to fragrance number 9, we are going to be talking about one of the first fragrances that I ever reviewed on this channel, diving into the house of Mercedes-Benz. This one goes by the name of Mercedes-Benz Cologne. All right, so although I am recommending this one, just be aware that there are a ton of alternatives, and you may want to look into those alternatives because Mercedes-Benz Cologne is now discontinued. Some of those alternatives are going to be Dior Homme Cologne, Jimmy Choo Man Ice, Vibrant Leather from Zara. You have Goldfield and Banks Bohemian Lime. You also have Adolfo Dominguez Aqua Fresca Citrus Cedros. Now, how does this one smell? Gonna sound a bit hacky. The best way I know how to describe it, and I'm gonna follow that same trend, is to say ice cold lemonade. It's a citrus bomb as well. Emphasis is gonna be on both grapefruit and orange. There's lemon verbena, which gives it a lemony green freshness, and then imagine just nice clean white musks. It's not a heavy fragrance. This is a fresh and clean fragrance, something you just throw on and go. It was a shoe-in for this type of video. It is literally one of my favorite types of DNAs to wear. Obviously, if I featured it on the channel that early on, it's a DNA that I am very accustomed to and have been wearing for many, many years. Definitely one worth checking out, a fragrance DNA that will undoubtedly level up your collection. At the number 9 spot, again from Mercedes, we have Mercedes-Benz Cologne. All right, y'all, so last but not least, and if you are still watching, big salute. I really do appreciate it. If you did happen to make it this far, please do consider subscribing. It's literally free, costs you nothing. I would certainly appreciate it. Diving into the house of Chanel with this last one goes by the name of Allure Homme Edition Blanche. All right, so Allure Homme Edition Blanche has to be one of the more addictive takes on citrus that I have come across thus far in my journey. Nothing that I've talked about today smells quite like it. This one opens up with an immediate sunny disposition, but even more so, it has a remarkable smoothness to it. Now, when you spray it, it smells like grated lemon peels over almost a dessert like vanilla. The vanilla is not too rich and dense though. There's a smoothness to it. Like I said, it's very refined. It's a very refined feel-good fragrance. The only downside to Allure Homme Edition Blanche is that it does border on having dog shit performance. So it's one that I do find myself overspraying quite often. Definitely test drive before you buy. But again, it is one of the more addictive takes on citrus that I have come across. And for that reason, I do believe it deserved to be on this list today. Last but not least, at the number 10 spot, again from the house of Chanel, we have Allure Homme Edition Blanche. All right, you guys, that's pretty much a wrap for me. Those are 10 super stellar, awesome smelling citrus fragrances. Every single one of these rock perfectly in the high heat. And in my opinion, they will undoubtedly level up your collection. I certainly do appreciate you checking out the video. More appreciative if you've checked out until the end. Now, for those of y'all that are still watching, what I want y'all to do is leave a comment below. Let me know which one of these fragrances you want to check out. I will pick one person and I will send you a free 5 milliliter decant free of charge, just my way of saying thank you for checking out the whole video. Listen, I'm well aware I do not upload the most content, but one thing you will always get over here is honest, authentic, and unbiased opinions. In the year of the fragrance influencer, in the year of the shill, that has to count for something, y'all. I really do love and appreciate all the support. Until next time, y'all take care, all right? All right, bye.